Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel.
Yeah, we thought we would just do a little story time about how we met each other, so you guys can get to know us a little bit better. If you want to watch that, stick around.
Let's get into the video.
Let's do this. So, where should we start with how we first met each other?
It was in 2012. It's like the first weekend of February. A bunch of us from Toronto were going over to Montreal to attend a kind of a birthday weekend for a mutual friend. We were a bit late. I was in the last car to go there.
I was actually the person who he had asked to host the party. So I was involved in basically all of the festivities of that weekend. And so I knew in my mind, like, okay, Toronto people were coming down. And as someone who has often entertained friends from out of town in Montreal, like, I was completely like game for anything that, you know, our friends were doing. And we were all waiting in like a really good restaurant, and we were just waiting for their car to arrive because like it had the girl that our friend was interested in. We had even like set up a place for her and everything. So their arrival was actually like really exciting.
So we got there pretty late at night. Actually, the whole evening, they were already celebrating the birthday.
Even though he didn't know who I was at the time, like, I think that there was just knowledge of each other's groups because we had like a Facebook invite, and so a lot of people who were attending this like weekend event sort of saw who the other people were going. So like he knew my name. I
had previously heard of her name before, but I didn't make the connection.
Yeah.
Which we'll get to later.
Yeah, we'll get to later. But I think I remember that moment at the restaurant where like everyone was so excited for like the girl to arrive, and I remember like seeing that she was with another girl who I feel like I already knew, and two other guys, him being one of them. We just like quickly like made eye contact for like a really split second. Yeah. But like it kind of like scared me, and I just went back to eating my food. Like I didn't really want to kind of engage that conversation yet. So that was Friday night. And then the Saturday morning, we had all decided to obviously meet up again. The guys were all staying at a Montreal guy's house. And all the girls were staying at my house. We're staying at her house. So we got up and we were planning to meet up in the day, but the girls didn't wake up early enough. We didn't mean to split up the day. Like the guys ended up going off on their own and the girls ended up going off on their own. Where we found ourselves later on in the day was at the ice rink, because that's kind of where our friend wanted to take her for the date. Like it was we went to this place called Beaver Lake in Montreal, which is a nice kind of a park area. It was winter, so there was ice skating on the frozen lake. That's where the girls ended up, and the guys actually ended up going on like a little bit of a hike. And the girls were like, where are the guys? Like I thought we were all going to go to, you know, Beaver Lake to skate. And so by the time we had met up, it was like already late afternoon. And everyone was leaving already to go to like a smoked meat place that's famous. Me and Jill still didn't interact at this point. We had not talked to each other at all, and our first interaction would be at that smoked meat place. Yeah, and it was like a very quick kind of like, hey, so how's your food? And he was really happy with the smoked meat. Like, it was my first time, so everyone was hyping it up so hard. Yeah. And I lived up to the hype. And I was still in a place where like I didn't want to be too friendly yet. I was just kind of like still getting to know this new group of people. I just said like, all right, well, like I'll see you later tonight, because everyone knew that everyone was basically congregating at my place that evening, because that was kind of the main event. There was a UFC fight going on. The birthday boy wanted to stream the fight. Yeah. At her house. I thought it was like the party house of people that come to Montreal, because her house is pretty big. I was like, whoa, this place is awesome. It's too bad I'll never come here again. Little did he know. It seemed like the Montreal party house, but the truth is like I was very rarely the person who was hosting the party. So because I was this time, I was really like trying to go around and make sure everyone was okay, and I kept myself pretty busy. Like part of the night I was trying to figure out how to stream the UFC fight. I was like trying to find a place to take a nap because I was so tired. She was like struggling with the wires or something, and I'm like, do you need help? Because I don't know how to help. Yeah, and I was like, no, it's okay, I'm fine. And like I just sort of like didn't pay any mind. I wasn't really like looking to like meet someone or like flirt with anyone. I was there to kind of host this party for my friends. I just tried to keep myself busy, really, but like eventually like I sort of like loosened up and was able to join the festivities. There was this one moment where I remember running into him in front of my refrigerator. And we
That
had
was our,
this
like, meet
sort of
cute.
like, yeah, we had this sort of like awkward, like, oh, like I'm going this way. No, you're going this. Okay,
It was like an awkward like shuffle dance,
then,
which where we were like trying to pass each other,
yeah.
but it was a tight space.
He interacted with me when he had to interact with me, but he wasn't going out of his way to like get to know me or anything.
I wasn't there really to meet anyone.
Yeah.
I was just there, you know, to have a good time, I guess.
Yeah. What ended up happening was we were really into this game called Werewolf. We would play it every time we got together. It was like pretty late at night. He still hadn't found a place to sleep. So he just found himself, and I found myself in that circle of people playing werewolf. I remember like there was one portion of the game where it was like, okay, you have to pick someone that you trust. I looked around the room and I was like, I saw him and he looked like he was about to fall asleep, and I was like,
Yeah.
no way this guy is guilty of being a werewolf because he doesn't even know what's happening right now.
Yeah, kick me out of the game,
super
guys.
tired.
I'm just gonna go take a nap.
And
somewhere.
I remember like not even remembering what his name was. I was like, what's your name again? And you were like, AJ. And I'm like, I trust AJ. The whole night was just a lot of like near misses and like not a lot
Kind
of like interaction.
Very short interactions. Through the day, we kind of already were eyeing each other
I
a little
think,
bit.
yeah, out of the group of people that were there, he was definitely on my radar.
It wasn't even anything though. It was just like, oh, she's cute.
Yeah, and for me too, it was kind of like he's cute. The real time like that I felt something had hit me was the next day. We were trying to figure out if we should do mass or breakfast then mass, and one of our friends was like, we need to find a breakfast place really soon because this guy needs coffee. And I remember thinking to myself, like, I need coffee. That was one of the first things that we bonded over, was just our love for, you know, this stuff. And we ended up going to Tim Hortons, and like, I remember you were introducing some people to this awesome breakfast food.
Oh
What
my
was it?
gosh, it was
like
a maple French toast bagel.
And I remember like, I wanted to try this maple French toast bagel, and
It was like, oh my gosh. And then they discontinued it anyway.
Yeah.
It's a sore spot for me that they discontinued it. So
let's not talk about that. But as soon as like I knew that he liked coffee, maybe more than I like coffee, I was like, this guy's on my radar. I needed to avoid him at all costs because I knew that if I were to ever like open my mouth to talk to him, I would just look a fool. I wanted to keep that mystery of like, oh yeah, I'm just like this girl that like you're seeing, not someone that's going to like fall over their words and be like a geek. What ended up happening was we did go to mass. This guy was sitting a few rows in front of me. I saw the most amazing thing is when he was like kneeling down to pray, and I was just like, I think like he was glowing or something because I was just so like amazed. He's not doing this for show. Like he's obviously a very prayerful guy. He was like deep in prayer after like communion. And I was like, oh my God, like he's so holy. And then
hey, that's hot.
I think I liked him like a lot at this point, and like it came really fast for me.
So we went to breakfast after church. We went to this place called Vichy. It was kind of like a brunch buffet.
It wasn't only the two groups of the two houses, but other friends from Montreal came. Like he had arrived at the place before me, and so I saw him sitting there. He was dressed so nice too. Like you were like really like dressed to the nines.
Best. I was hoping that she would come in and sit close to me, but she didn't.
I sat all the way on the other side of the table.
Yeah, and I was like, oh.
Not only did I sit at the other side of the table,
I lost my chance to like kind of like schmooze, you know?
I got the opportunity to sort of like be like my normal silly self with like people on this side of the table.
I was sitting on the other side of the table, but my ears were definitely on her side of the table.
The truth is that if I were to have sat near him, knowing that like he was someone that like I was somewhat interested in, I would have been like super quiet. Because I was sitting on the other side, far away from him, where I didn't need to worry about impressing him or anything like that. I was able to be myself. I remember like maybe just a couple interactions.
Yeah, we had very few interactions even then.
I think we were lined up for ice cream at the same time. I don't remember what I said, but it was a flop. I said something like, oh, so you're in line? And you're like, yep. And
ice cream, huh?
Yeah, I said something really lame. And I was just like, oh my God, he's gonna think I'm the biggest loser. Fast forward to the goodbyes.
Yeah,
Toronto was only in town for a couple days.
We were leaving after lunch. I was like, oh, I gotta say bye to her. Like,
I was like, I gotta say bye to him.
And I wanted to save her for last.
I saved him for last too. We finally like got to each other. Like we said bye to every single person except each other. And so I remember like thinking in my head, I was like, what am I gonna say to him? What am I gonna say to him? I remember trying to act really cool, and I was like, hey, so you know, if ever I'm in Mississauga, like maybe I'll see you. And he was like, yeah, definitely. And like you were playing it so cool. On my end, in what was happening in my brain is like I looked lame, and he was just kind of playing his cards so right.
Because I never thought that I would actually see her again. It's one of those like kind of polite things you say, like, oh yeah, if you're ever in town kind of thing. When I got home that night, I received the
friend notification.
Request notification from this one.
Yeah, I messaged him first and I was like, hey, like, did you guys get home okay?
Yeah.
I am like so lame.
And when she did that, I was like, yeah.
You got this.
She's interested. Actually, no, I didn't. I thought she was just really being friendly. And then we talked that night for a while on Messenger.
And then I found out through conversation with him that like we actually had a mutual friend.
We had met
and that we
10
met.
years before. Yeah, she was in Toronto for some sort of conference for our youth group, and we actually have a picture together.
We do. It's a picture of him
singing
in the kitchen singing to like the Montreal girls. So I was one of them. Even though like I was so closed off, I didn't want to really like start a relationship with anyone at that point in time. I started to feel this really like nice sense of comfort because I was like, oh well, he's someone who's in my circle of friends, someone who like I would probably have met in the near future if not at that weekend.
So we talked, and by the end of the night, I kind of was crushing pretty hard. There's a spider on my microphone.
I don't
What
know
are you
if you
saying,
can hear
spider?
what it's saying, but we'll probably hear that.
It's probably singing the Spider-Man tune. One sec.
At this point in time, I wasn't sure at all if he had any interest, so I was just kind of like trying to leave like a breadcrumb of like a, yeah, it's okay, you can talk to me or like be interested. I don't know if it was actually the next morning or if it was like a couple days later, but I said like, hey, I hope that you have a good day today. I said it in the morning.
I was like lying in bed still, playing Temple Run, and then I get a message from her on my BlackBerry.
I can't believe I did that. I really feel like I made the first move.
And that's how I knew that she was kind of interested.
I definitely dropped my handkerchief. I was like, yes, you may pick it up now.
Right.
It grew pretty strong pretty quick. Our conversations like...
We crushed hard pretty quickly. And actually, I didn't tell her this until our wedding day in a letter. After like maybe the first or second conversation we had, a little something, a voice in my head said, keep at this one. She's the one.
And
it was
here we
true.
are.
And here we are. So that's how I met your mother, kids.
Yep, that's how he met me.
So that's it for today's video, you guys. Thank you for watching. You know, if you're new here, please do consider subscribing and liking this video, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye. So much crap. What is this, bird crap?